Hey nerds, it's Ryan here. I just finished this Funko Pop display for these amazing Wandavision Funko Pops. The kitchen design is based on episode 1, and if you look underneath, it's got some hidden Easter eggs that is based on episode 2 in the animated intro. I'm going to show you how you can easily do the same. Plus, we're going to get a reaction, review, and an unboxing for these guys, and all the good stuff. Then, I'm going to show you how you can win your very own Wanda and Vision Funko Pops. All the details are at the end of this video, so make sure you stick around. Now, let's get into it. Toy Nerd! So, your shopping list. You need XPS foam. I decided to go with a 30mm because the 80mm was too expensive. You need some paints. I recommend just using acrylic paints. They're easy to work with and work very well with this sort of a diorama. A scrap of white fabric, some wood glue, some hot glue, some map pins, a thin strip of 3mm MDF, some powder pop sticks, some matchsticks, and then this picture I created in Photoshop, which you can find as a free download in the description below. So let's unbox these figures. I'm going to use some Wandavision magic right now. Here we go. Boom! Oh. That didn't work. All right, let me one more try. Here we go. Boom! There we go. All right, so they're out of the box. So first off, I wanted to base the diorama or the display off the kitchen from episode 1. You can see from the pictures here that it's got an L-shaped cupboard, 2 overhead cupboards, and a window. Also a few bits and bobs like the bottles, boxes, and toasters. I also wanted to add in some Easter eggs, you know, for those fan theories. To make sure everything's at the right height, we're using the Wandavision Funko Pops as a measurement. For the whole base of the diorama, I'm using XPS foam. It's really cheap, really easy to work with, and you can get it anywhere. So first things first, we want to measure and cut all the pieces. I used a texter for this. I don't recommend it. I found it hard to remove the texter later on, so just use a pencil and you should be fine. So we're cutting out the L shape. We're also cutting out the overhead cupboards, but also I cut out a bench top, a toaster, a bottle, some boxes. To trim these down, I first used a utility blade, followed by a Dremel. If you don't have a Dremel, you can just use a sanding tool, but I recommend buying one. You can get one really cheap if you get one of the no-name brands, but Dremels are roughly about 60 bucks here in Australia, so if you're gonna be going down and doing more of this sort of stuff, I recommend just picking one up. One thing a kitchen always has is a sink. I actually thought it was going to be really hard to make, but then I thought about using a McDonald's sauce cup and everything just turned out amazing. So to do that, just take off the lid of the sauce. So once you've done that, you can clean it out, mark it up on the foam, and then remove the foam where you want to put in the sink, glue it all up, and then you're done. So the other things that we're cutting out are from all the Easter eggs and fan theories that Marvel love to put in. If you look where Vision goes through the floor in episode 2 in the cartoon animated intro, you'll see a couple little things in there, including the Grim Reaper's helmet and some bones. Now in this case, I've made the bones more like Sparky's bone, and the Grim Reaper helmet isn't to scale of the Funko Pops, but you get the idea. These are going to be hidden in the underflooring that I've created for the diorama. To do this, I just used really thin MDF 3mm and then layered it with some foam in between for your wood slats. So the next thing you want to do is seal and prime. You can do this in one swoop if you use Mod Podge with paint. And so you use 1 part Mod Podge, 1 part paint. I highly recommend you do at least 2 coats with the sealer, but if you have time, do 3 or 4. The more you do, the smoother the foam will end up being. So for the indentation on the overhead cupboards, I used a soldering iron. The soldering iron heats up the foam and starts to melt it and creates a nice little indentation. Of course, if you don't have a soldering iron, you can just push it in with a pencil. You'll get a similar look. I noticed from the kitchen that a lot of the cupboards are actually so flush against the wall that you can't even see the indentations, so I only did the indentation on the overhanging cupboards. So once you have all the cupboards marked up, we can paint them. Use the color scheme from the show. If you look at the colors here, we can see a lot of light grays and not too much white or stark black, so take that into consideration when you're painting things. For the cupboard door handles, I used map pins. These things are great for doing details like this. If you sand the top, it'll look much more like a door handle. Once you've done the door handles, it's time to move on to the oven. The oven can be a little bit tricky, so take your time with this one, use a small brush, and I'm sure it's going to look great. I used matchsticks for the handles, and then again map pins for the knobs. Last piece of the whole thing was the window. Now this is somewhat tricky. I use matchsticks and I use paddle pop sticks to create this. It's just thin paddle pop sticks and then normal size paddle pop sticks cut down and trimmed to create the window. With the paddle pop sticks, you can use scissors to cut them down or a utility knife. It's all up to you. I also got some old fabric, cut out some strips, put a string straight through it, and then used those for the curtains on the top and bottom. For behind the window, I was thinking about originally cutting out a giant hole in the diorama, but then I thought that's probably not necessary. I can print something out, put it behind the paddle pop sticks, and put some plastic, clear plastic in the center to give it the gloss of the glass, and Bob's your uncle, it is good. So now we're at that point to glue everything together, and once you've glued it all together, we are at the end of this diorama. I'm pretty happy with this overall build. There are some things I might have changed here and there if I had my time again, but overall I'm pretty dang happy with this. I built this in just over a day and it cost me about 30 bucks to make. However, I'll be able to make many more dioramas with the leftover pieces. Okay, so now for the good stuff. This week we're giving you guys a chance to win your very own Wanda and Vision pop set. It's super easy, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this video a like and comment below, and that's it, you're entered. We'll be drawing the winner in next week's video, which will be a display for the Halloween Wanda and Vision. So make sure you have your notifications turned on and you don't miss that. And of course, you can shop all the Wandavision pops on our Toy Nerds website. Thanks so much for watching, good luck in the giveaway, and we'll see you next week for another video.